Hello and welcome back to Nerd News today, and it's time for another action figure review and unboxing, and today it's going to be a good one. Ooh yeah, it's going to be a good one. Today, from Mattel's WWE Ultimate Collection, we are taking a look at the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Ooh yeah. So we looked at a few Macho Man figures before on the channel. It's one of our favorites. I think it's everybody's favorite to really get a figure of. It's up there with like Ultimate Warrior, Undertaker, a lot of guys who just have a lot of great looks. And this is an iconic look for the Macho Man here. This is actually his Saturday Night's Main Event look when he was feuding with Jake Roberts. This look was seen in a ton of promotional pics from that same era as well. So it's such a great look. So glad they chose it. We're going to spend a little bit more time talking about that once we get him out of the box. But first things first, hey, let's talk about this box here. So it is in the traditional Ultimate Edition packaging, which is a little bit of a larger box than you get with the typical Mattel figure. It's got angled cuts on the top corner and the bottom corner there, which is an interesting choice, but that's how they do things. Never really understood it, but hey, it helps it stand out on the shelf, that part's for sure. The front has an enormous window to get a look at all of the many accessories that are coming with this figure, and there's a lot of different things that come with this figure, which are really cool. We've got an alternate head, we've got a jacket, we've got glasses, we've got the cowboy hat. So much cool stuff here. On the back of the box, we have a picture of the Macho Man figure doing a flying elbow drop, and we also have another picture of him actually wearing the gear. We also get a little bit of some statistics about him, where he's from, his height, finisher, career highlight. But again, I think we've talked about this with other Ultimate Edition videos in the past too, is how the bios for the figures are pretty terrible. And I don't really understand why at this point they're still not actually telling us exactly when this outfit is from. I think that's really important information. I think for a lot of collectors too, we want that information. We want to know exactly when it's from. And a lot of folks who might not know need to know. So I really wish the bios went a little bit more in depth on what this outfit is from. And there's plenty of space in this box, so they could easily fit that information in there. So I really hope they start doing that. But at this point, we're like into Wave 8's Ultimate figures, so I don't think it's going to happen. On one side of the box, we have the Ultimate Edition logo and, of course, Macho Man's name. And the other side, we've got a picture of Macho with his cowboy hat on. But of course, you're not here to look at the packaging, although it is quite admirable and worth taking a look at because it's so colorful. But yeah, why don't we go ahead, let's get our Macho Man out of the box and take a better look at him from all angles. And real quick, before we actually take a look at the figure, I want to show you guys on the bottom and on the tops of every one of these Ultimate Edition packages, there's always some kind of quote on it. So on the bottom, it says, "Macho Madness is running wild." And on the top, of course, it says, "Ooh yeah." So let's go ahead and get this figure now out of the box, take a better look at him. All right, and here is our Macho Man, Randy Savage, now out of the packaging. And so the number one thing we have to talk about is the fact that this is the first time they've done Macho in one of these outfits and have included his shoulder tassels, his shoulder pads, whatever you want to call them. I guess they're more shoulder tassels. So yeah, we've seen in the past, they did like the Slim Jim Macho, I think had this. There was a WCW style Macho that again had a similar thing, but that was done with a removable rubber piece. In the case of this Macho Man, they have finally figured out a way to incorporate his shoulder tassels into the figure and theoretically not hinder his articulation. So I think we should actually test that right away because that's a pretty important thing here and it's something we've been waiting for a while. And yeah, so there you go. You guys can see it. You can't, I don't know if you can actually, no, okay, you can get them pretty high. I wouldn't really go much higher because you're going to definitely put a lot of stress onto that piece there. But you can now actually get him to do some poses and do the actual moves that have him take off his rubber jacket. So finally, it has taken them years to figure this out. I mean, Macho was part of when Mattel, I think, first got the series when they did like their first figure in 2009. So it has literally been over a decade for them to finally give us a Macho Man that has interactive shoulder pieces on him. And by the way, I also wanted to bring out this guy over here. He's a little dirty, he's a little banged up, but there you guys go. That is the original Hasbro Macho Man, or at least one of them, because there was a few different Macho Mans. There was the Macho Man, there was the Macho King, there was Cowboy Macho that we got right now in the ring. But yeah, this is essentially what this figure is also based on. And how cool is that the Hasbro now has a modern day counterpart with a lot of these same accoutrements that we'll talk about in a few minutes. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys right now real quick this little Macho. We'll bring him back on in a little bit later. But let's go ahead and now talk about the likeness because that's a big thing with this Macho. So this is the Macho head that is on it. I believe that is actually a brand new Macho Man head sculpt. I'm pretty sure it is. And don't quote me on that because I know there was the Macho Man, which was from the Royal Rumble Target series last year, but I can't recall what head was on that figure. I don't think it was this one though. So I believe this might be a brand new head sculpt for him. Likewise, we also have an alternate head here, which is this guy, which is the grumpy Macho face, I like to call it. What is kind of cool, to be honest, is that it actually looks a little bit like Dr. Death Steve Williams. So if anybody out there wants to do any customs, well, here you go. Here's your base head right now. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and swap those heads out just to show you guys how that works. But the likenesses are excellent. You know, Macho Mans have always been pretty great with the likenesses, so I've rarely had to complain about that kind of thing in the past. But yeah, these two are looking really good. And this is also, I think, probably the first time we've gotten their new 3D painting method with it. So the paint job's a little bit crisper, a little bit more detailed as well. So there you go, that's that head on the body. Looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and just show you side by side the two machos, what they look like. Excellent macho heads. Yeah, no complaints here. These things look really good. Now let's talk a little bit more about this outfit. This is from that Jake the Snake feud that happened, which I think was right before WrestleMania 8 as well, which was when he wrestled Ric Flair. So yeah, this is that outfit. It's a very iconic outfit, and it's looking pretty good here from all angles. I mean, this is pretty nice here. Great detail, really colorful. You can see there's a pretty big splotch of schmutz there. I don't think that's going to really be too big of a bother for me, though, because it's going to usually be covered up or not really seen. But that's kind of worth noting. If you want to talk about accuracy, the one thing that is incorrect, unfortunately, as I lift up his arms to show you guys, is that you can see here, there's tassels, but if we look at that photo again from the packaging, you'll see that that would have actually been open space. That would have been where you could see like his skin kind of poking through. That's missing, but really, I don't care about that. That's not really a big deal. It's such a small, minor detail. I just wanted to mention it for anybody out there who's like super duper purist about it, but yeah, not a big deal whatsoever. Otherwise, though, the colors are great. They really pop, very vibrant, and I think they got the outfit down pretty darn well. I mean, even the boots are painted, which is really nice, and they're painted to the nines. Like, those are excellent looking boots. And I love how the tassels are, in fact, actually incorporated into the outfit. Again, not just in the shoulders, but on his sides there. So, yeah, really cool. Loving every part of this. Oh, yeah, I didn't realize the back of his boots have have laces, too. That's weird, but cool. Cool little bit of detail there. I feel like no other Macho Man figures have had that before. But hey, that's why it's an Ultimate Edition. And by the way, on the topic of Macho Man heads, I wanted to just pull a few other older Macho Man figures out here. This is the Defining Moments Macho Man, which was from WrestleMania 3, which had the giant purple robe, which I don't have here with me today. And so, all right, so I think I was actually mistaken, because now looking at this other head here, it looks like it actually is the same head, but it's, I think, got a much, much, much cleaner paint job. Looks like they also kind of made it smaller, too. So, yeah, you guys can actually see that, in fact. That head that's on the Defining Moments figure is a little bit bigger. This one here is a little bit smaller, sized down. The sculpting looks a little bit cleaner also. And even the hair, in fact, I'll actually turn this Macho Man around so you could see, you could actually definitely see the hair sculpt is a definitely revised version of that hair. So that's the Macho Man 3. So it is actually a head they've done before, but this is a vastly improved version of that head. And I also have here a basic version of Macho Man, which is from that same match, in fact, but that's the basic version. So a different head there. Again, it's just a different style. This is from many, many years ago. And you can see it's got a much more of a thick paint job on it. You lose a lot of the detail that you're getting here with this Ultimate Edition. And just one last figure to compare it to in terms of the modern figures that are more or less from that era that I have. This is the very first Macho Man figure that Mattel did. This is the very first Legends figure of Macho. And yeah, you guys can see again just how far they've come. So yeah, we got this guy, which was from, I guess, like 2009, I want to say, maybe 2010. Very, very one of the first Machos, if not the first. Pretty sure it is, in fact, the first. You've got this version, which came out about 5-6 years ago, maybe less, maybe more. And then we got this one we have here today in the ring. So they've come leaps and bounds with sculpting some Macho Man Randy Savage heads. This one is just a knockout. And now we can actually jump into a little bit about articulation here. You guys can see we've got our Ultimate Edition next to our Elite figures here. So the biggest difference that's going to be with these figures really is the double-jointed elbows. They have double-jointed elbows here on the Ultimate Editions, whereas these guys do not. I'm going to just take our original out of here. We'll slide them over. So this Macho has double-jointed elbows, so you can do a lot more dynamic poses that this guy cannot do. We also have removable hands, which we'll talk about in a second. These guys, you can pop their hands out, but it wasn't really meant for it. And other than that, we have the toe joint. We have this little toe articulation here, so we can kind of do the smooth criminal dance. Other than the double-jointed elbow and the toe joint, the other main difference we have here is how the upper torso buck is here, how the chest piece is. So these guys here, they do that. But this, we have a much greater range of motion. Oh, he's stiff out the box. But yeah, you can see that. You got great range of motion. That looks really nice there. I don't know if the waist is any different either. I don't think it actually does anything else besides... No, okay, it just goes left and right. It's a very, very stiff joint, though. So, yeah, this Macho Man should be ashamed of himself because he can't move quite as well as the other ones. So we'll have him take a leap out of the ring. But yeah, we do have a lot of accessories here. So I'm going to pop off the hands, I think, to start things off here. And I'm going to go ahead and pop off the head, I think, also. So Macho Man comes with an additional set of hands. We already showed you the additional head. I'm going to go ahead, swap it, though, put it back what was on him in the packaging, because I think it's going to look better with the other accessories. Listen to that. Snap. Snap into it. Ooh, yeah. So we have the Macho Man jacket. And this is where my green screen completely hates me. This is the Macho Man jacket, which might look familiar to you because, again, it's kind of just like that Hasbro figure. How cool is that? So this is the Macho Man jacket. Lovely detail. Looks so nice. Look at all these great tassels here. Oh, man. This is so good. Let's slip this on and see how it works, especially with these shoulder pads here. That's kind of a big concern I have is, will they be able to handle it? And it looks like so far the answer is yes. It looks like they were prepared to deal with this jacket. And it's going on way easy, actually. I'm actually impressed how smooth this is going on here. Yeah, we're on. Jacket is on. That took like practically no effort. That's great. You guys can see it actually, it's a little bit oversized in the sleeve, so you can just slide it right on through and right on into it. So they came prepared for that. And there is also a little Velcro piece here so you can close the jacket. We have the additional set of hands. Let's go ahead and slide those in. We have a pair of sunglasses, because you can't have Macho Man without his green glasses. There we go. And last but not least, the Macho Man cowboy hat, which I know makes his face a little bit hard to see, so I'm going to kind of just angle that hat a little bit up in a weird angle. But there you go. That is it. He's all dressed up, ready for his entrance. How perfect is this? Like, wow, this is such a good-looking figure, especially from behind. That's like, that. I keep using the word iconic, but it totally is. There's no other word to really describe how good this Macho looks, and just how like important and reminiscent of an era it is. And by the way, since I already showed off Macho Man with other WWE figures, with other Macho Men, if you will, I wanted to show how he looked with a few AEW figures, just for sizing and comparison here. And I decided that the Young Bucks from AEW Wave 3 are probably the best choice because they also got the tassel thing going on. The difference is their tassels, for the most part, down here you can see, are actually fabric. They got a few other ones up there. But that's how AEW is doing their stuff right now too. And this is how the Macho Man looks next to him. Size-wise, they're all pretty much same scale, so no issues there. Can you imagine if Macho Man was still alive today and working with the Young Bucks? How cool would that be? So what is the final verdict on our Ultimate Edition Macho Man? I'm going to say this. I think this is going to be the hottest Ultimate Edition of 2021. We do know, I think, a few other figures that are planned to come out with this line this year, but I'm going to remind you guys of the Ultimate Warrior figure that was part of Wave 1. That one went crazy. That one was sold out really quick. I think the NWO Hulk Hogan is going to be relatively hot, not quite nearly as much as that Ultimate Warrior was. But I do believe that this is going to be such a hot figure this year, especially because of how iconic it is. There's a lot of things that actually remind me of the San Diego Comic-Con Slim Jim Macho Man exclusive that came out also, especially like with things like the jacket here and a lot of that kind of stuff too. And that, as you know, was a very, very hot figure. I see this one being even more hot, and despite not necessarily being as limited as that San Diego Comic-Con Macho Man figure was, I think this one's going to be getting scooped up off the shelves really hard, really fast. So I think if you want this Macho, don't hesitate. Don't do what I did with the Ultimate Warrior from Ultimate Edition Series 1, because I didn't buy that one. I didn't really like it that much. I skipped it. I absolutely regret that decision. So do not skip on this Macho Man. If you keep him loose, if you keep him in box, it doesn't matter. I think you need to have him. If you love Macho Man, and I think everybody out there more or less does, this is the one to get. And best of all, I mean, come on, you guys put him side by side with your Hasbro figure, and boom, that's like the perfect display. In fact, I'm just going to leave them like that for the rest of the video. So while the heads might not be 100% completely new, they've definitely improved upon what we've already seen by leaps and bounds, changing the hair a little bit, doing a better job showing off the details, a much cleaner paint job. We have swappable hands. We have the cowboy hat, finally, the cowboy hat, the best one to get. We've got the removable soft goods fabric jacket with all the details there. And speaking of details again on the outfit, what he's actually wrestling in is, again, superb. Fantastic job on that. Great number of accessories. I really don't even want any additional accessories. You know, normally I'll save for some other things. I think the only thing I wouldn't mind having is like a classic style microphone. That's really it. I think otherwise it's a perfect figure. 10 out of 10. So really, don't wait on this Macho Man. Get him right now before he's gone for good and you can't get him again. So that is our look at the WWE Ultimate Edition Series 8 Macho Man figure from Mattel. If you guys can't figure out how much I love it yet, I mean, just rewind the video and watch it again. I don't really know what to tell you guys, but yeah, buy it right now. Don't wait. So I'm Matthew. This has been Nerd News Today. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you're a new viewer here to the channel, and make sure you see all the wrestling goodness we have going on here and everything else that we do on the channel. Don't just be one of those YouTubers who's here for a cup of coffee. Keep it in the big leagues and stick around here on Nerd News Today. Freak out, freak out.